Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 318. My opponent played d4 and I play knight f6, flexible move, waiting for White's further play. If he plays c4, then I can play g6 or e6, going into a Nimzo Indian, or even d6, I guess, in some cases, setting up a King's Indian. So, but my opponent played none of the above. He played bishop f4, bit of a rare move, but it's clearly signaling that he's going to play the London system with the pawn to e3, and he goes for this setup. Now I could play d5 immediately, but I plan to play a fianchetto setup against the London system, so I just go g6 right away. And now he went e3. Knight f3 is a little bit normal, is more normal, but there's no particular significance to this move order that I can see. Looks like just get to the same position by normal moves. And now castling is the main move here, but I play d5 at this point. Still an okay move. Knight bd2. And here, knight bd2, is that, I guess in this particular case, yeah, it is a normal move. I was thinking about playing c5 immediately, and it looks like I could get away with it, although castling or knight h5, going after the bishop immediately, are the engine recommendations there. But if I play c5, he can take. This is what I was wondering about. And then it's not so easy for me to round up the pawn. I just castle and worry about getting it back later. If I play queen here immediately, you know, a lot of times there's a check, and you can pick up the pawn, but there's no check because he played his knight to d2, so that's what makes this a little bit different. You can play c4 even, and looks like White has a pretty decent position here. What's wrong with knight takes d5? Rook c1. Well, this is a neat trick. Rook c1 is a skewer of the queen, so I can't take with the knight there. I have to take with the queen. So anyway, this is not such a great position for black, although playable. So the immediate c5 is not good in this case, and so I played, suspecting that c5 maybe means more trouble than usual to round up. I played knight bd7 just so I'd be able to take back with the knight after I play c5 in case he takes it. So he played h3 here, providing a return square for his bishop. So now if I play knight h5, that's why knight h5 earlier would have been more effective. Here he can just drop his bishop back to h2 and then be perfectly safe. So I play c5 here, and he goes c3, completing his setup with the pawn triangle and the bishop outside the triangle. So that's a complete London system. And the way I'm playing against it is okay. You see slight edge for White, but nothing great. And that's true of the London system in general. It's not a super great opening, but it's very solid and not easy to break down. And White does have some sort of nagging edge here. So I went ahead and played b6 here. Not too bad. I had blocked this diagonal of the bishop, so I was going to open up this one, or maybe even this square at some point. The bishop could come here if that square were defended. But he just castles, and so b7 seems like the natural square for the bishop. All this is pretty normal. Knight e5. Cancel that. So after knight e5, the engine is saying I should take. Well, I should consider taking. It also likes knight e8 immediately. And rook c8. Okay, well I played rook c8, so I'm not in trouble yet. At some point, I leave this knight here just a little bit too long, and White gets a really strong attack going. So we'll see this happen. But at the moment, things are just fine. I can hold off taking it. Rook to c1, and now I took on d4. Maybe this is a mistake here. Now the engine is calling for knight takes e5 or knight e8. Knight e8 also is a way of putting more pressure on that knight. But let's say I play the exchange here, just to see what would happen. I was expecting him to take back with the pawn, and then my knight goes to d7, and I guess this is good. I've got an attack on this pawn, He plays knight f3 to defend it. He could also give it away by playing d6 and kind of disrupt my pawn structure here, but that is just giving away a pawn. And it looks like this would be a fine way to play. So maybe this is my one of my better chances to get rid of that knight. So this c takes I played, and then he took back with his c pawn. Let's stop for a second. Yeah, c takes d4 is the recommended way to take back. And now I went knight e8, putting pressure on the bishop. But knight e8 in the previous move was good. Here it's not so good because rook takes c8. Yeah, I've opened up the c file. So that's the difference between this situation and the previous one, is the c file is open. So here he can play this, and queen takes, and then queen a4. And it looks like he starts to get a lot of activity. So I'm going to take his knight, and then d takes, and I don't have a way to bring pressure against that pawn anymore. Yeah, because I've committed my knight to e8. So so it was a bad choice to open up the d file and then play knight e8. I could have played it previously before opening up the c file, but then afterwards it's not so good. Okay, so I played knight e8. He went knight d to f3, reinforcing his center instead of taking. So he didn't play the most optimal move there, but now I should take. And so he doesn't have the opportunity to grab my rook. But I played knight to d6, rerouting my knight and putting some pressure on the center square. So just a slight edge for white. So I haven't played the most accurate moves, but I haven't lost yet. Queen a4 comes in here, putting pressure on my knight. And you see, though, yeah, white's got a lot of activity here. So I've definitely gone downhill. So I played knight f6. Once again, okay, so at this point maybe is my last chance to take his knight. After knight f6, I'm not taking it, and now he has an excellent position, which he should probably just take my rook immediately. He goes bishop a6, and I traded bishops, maybe a little more accurate to play rook c7 or queen to e8. Okay, yeah, the knight is defending the bishop. For some reason I thought this exchange was sort of forced. And so white's advantage is growing here. His pieces are invading, and also this bishop is covering all these dark squares, which is the annoying thing about the London system. You have to always keep an eye out for tactics along this diagonal. And so white has a significant edge here, but it's a positional edge. It's not. There's no immediate tactical refutation just yet. And the move I played, rook a8, I'm just sort of cravenly defending the pawn, but there seemed to be nothing better in this position. So, but you know you're in bad shape if you have to play a move like rook a8. Your pieces are going in the wrong direction, but you're just trying to hold on to material and hope you don't get slaughtered. So he drops in here with knight c6 is a good move, getting his pieces active. I play queen d7, and he brings his other knight in, knight f to e5, and I play queen e6. So I'm having difficulty, but I still managed to find squares for my queen where I'm not getting destroyed. So just a tricky defensive job here. And now he plays rook c2, doubling on the c file. So I would say white's positional domination is pretty much complete at this point. He's got his pieces on excellent squares. He's going to control the c file, and he's invading. And before you know it, he's going to be on my 7th rank here. So a nice positional victory for white. But at some point, you know, just having the great position isn't everything. At some point, you actually have to break through. So anyway, I play knight f to e4, trying to get some pressure on this knight, which was sitting here unchallenged. He doubles on the c file. Very logical. And I take off the knight. He took back with the knight. Cancel that. He took back with the knight. And then I went rook to c8 here, challenging him. So I'm managing to stay in the game with these exchanges. If we back up a bit, he would have been better taking with either the bishop or the pawn and keeping this knight on this excellent post here. That's the way for white to keep the most advantage here. So taking with the pawn or taking with the bishop. So when he took with the knight, actually, that kind of gave me a little bit of life here, although he still has a significant edge. exchanged off the rooks, and then played queen b7. So he's gotten rid of the rooks, so he's lost one advantage he had, which was control of the c file, but he's exchanged that for another advantage, which is this invasion on the 7th rank. And here I make a real mistake and pretty much give the game away. So I should play knight c to d6. Oh yeah, this is a really logical move. I mean, it's a retreating move, but I need to defend here. Basically, you got to play these moves when you got to play them. It's knight e d6. Knight c d6. Ah, is the better way to play it. Not the retreating move, but so you get the knights so they defend each other, and you also hit the queen. Now the queen can grab a pawn here. But, okay, it says I can play g5 and harass the bishop. So the bishop drops back to h2 or g3, either one of those squares. And then knight takes f2. Ah, so there's a tactic here for me that I missed. Knight takes f2. And if king takes, and queen f5 check, and I get a draw. So I can draw the game here with this tactic. That's interesting. Knight f3 and queen c2 check. Looks like I just get a bunch of checks. If he goes forward to g3, he gets mated, so he has to drop back to the back rank, and then I can keep checking. So I can get a perpetual draw by perpetual check there with that tactic. So that's why black shouldn't take that pawn, but should play queen a8 check. Huh, interesting. Okay, but anyway, in any case, I didn't play the best move. He played queen b7, and I played f6, kicking his knight. And so right here is a good point for you to test out your tactical understanding. See if you can figure out the winning tactics here for white. Well, first of all, let's take a look at knight c6. You see there's two good moves here, knight c6 and knight d7. Let's take a look at knight c6, which is what he actually played in the game. He played knight c6. Cancel that. He played knight c6. And I just played a5, protecting my a pawn. And now he's got this great tactic. Queen takes, queen takes the knight, because if I take back, then knight takes. And he's a piece up. So I love those tactics with the knight fork. You know, you have a piece here which is apparently defended, but not really, because it's subject to a knight fork there. So that's this move a5 really should have cost me the game. But there's another interesting tactic here too, which is knight d7. And this is called an interference tactic. So the knight is interfering with the defense of my knight. It's just sitting in between the queen and knight, and so now my knight is hanging, and when I play this, actually the engine is recommending knight e to d6, bring it back to defend, but the bishop can just take that off. Queen takes, and now he can take here, because that's just completely unprotected. So if I take back with the knight, I guess that's the interesting point here. Can you spot the tactic? What goes wrong if I take back with the knight here? Okay, I'm going to give the answer away. So knight takes. He's got this check on the back rank. Queen a8 or b8. Oh yeah, c8 is covered. Okay, so say queen b8, check. There's no way to block the check. Well, I could throw the knight in there, but it's not going to help much. So after the king runs to either of these squares, queen here is checkmate. So very pretty mate. The king could have also gone to f7 as well as g7, but in either case it's checkmate. So that's why in this point I can't just move this knight away as well, because also in this case he's got the queen check on the back rank and then mate. So a couple of nice tactics there, and he played, like I said, he played knight c6, and I played a5. So we got these moves in, but then he missed this take the knight, and then win it back. Take the knight with the queen, give up the queen, but then win the queen back with the fork. So pretty cool tactic. He played a4, and this gives me some hope. I play knight to d2, going after his pawns on the queen side. Still, he has this tactic where he can just take my knight. But he played knight d8 instead. And now this is much more drawish with knight d6. Knight d6 is not the best move. Queen e4 is the move here to draw. So another variation, but this one for me, again with queen e4, I think the idea is I'm going to be able to get a lot of checks against his king. King runs to h2, and knight f1 check. And if the king stays on the back rank, then I have, well, say if he just played queen takes c8 here, for example, grabbing the knight, and queen b1 check, king h2, and knight f1 check. And the king can't escape. It's got to come back to the back rank, and we can repeat. So that would be a way for me to save the game. Okay, I was just concerned about saving my piece at this point. I missed this queen e4 idea. Actually, I was thinking during the game of ways I could move my queen. I just didn't realize that queen e4 was going to be effective in this case. So he takes on b6, because I knew I was losing all these pawns over here on the queen side, so I figured I was losing anyway. And now, but queen b6 turns out to be a mistake. So queen d7 was not the right move. Once again, queen e4 is the way to play this. And apparently this is a much more dangerous threat now. Say he just keeps gobbling up pawns like this, then there's a mate here, starting with knight g3 check. Okay, he's got to, what says he interposes the queen, that just loses the queen. So say the king goes to h2. Now queen h1 check, driving the king out into the open. And knight f5 check. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And now there's a mate in 2 here. The king only has a couple squares it can go to, here or here, the 2 light colored squares. That's covered by the knight, that's covered by the queen. So if king f3, this is a mate in 1 with queen d1 check. Oh, that's pretty. Skewering along this diagonal, and the knight is covering the escape. And if he goes in the other direction, if he goes to g4, then the mate is h5 check. And king to f3, and then queen d1 check again is mate. Wow. So this queen e4 move is really quite strong, and I completely missed that resource in the game. I played queen d7 here, trying to put some pressure on his knight. He took my knight, bishop takes, took with a queen, he took, and we get into this endgame where white is better and should probably win. But, you know, there's always drawing chances. There are often drawing chances in the endgame, especially if there's still a piece on the board. So let's go through the moves. This was all okay. He's maintaining his advantage through all of these moves here. Although he made it a little bit easy for me if we back up a second. Right here, he should play knight to d1 and defend his pawn that way. He defended with the king, and that allows me to pick up another pawn. Yeah, so knight to d1 would hold on to both pawns, defending that one and that one. Both those pawns were under attack, and he can defend them both with a knight move. He defended one of them. So I grab a pawn, and so now there's just a one-pawn edge. Still probably winning with correct play. And I do my best to block things up. I completely, so I'm just trying to set up a blockade position, and then if I can block up his pawns, maybe I can get pressure against him. And right here, he shouldn't lock up the position. He should maneuver his king around and try and find a breakthrough. But instead he played d5, and I came forward, and he played king e3, and then he offered a draw, and I took it because I didn't see any way to win. It's interesting that the drawing technique here is knight c4 check, king here, and then knight back. So I can keep keep pressure on the pawn. If he tries to maneuver his knight around, like this, then I can take a4. So his knight is tied down. Okay, so he can only have king moves back and forth. The interesting thing is I wasn't planning. He played king e3 and offered a draw. I was planning something different. I was planning to route my knight around this way, and this is not that way, this way. Try and get pressure on the pawn here. But if I had played that, that would be losing. Of course, I was low on time at this point, but just shows you have to calculate these things, particularly when there's knights. There's lots of tricks with the knights. Now this is losing because now he can reroute his knight. I go after the pawn. He comes into d2. I can even, oh, that defends, and I don't really have a lot to do. My king has no moves, so I have to move my knight, and I have no more pressure on his position. And he comes in here with this knight c4 check. So if we back up to this position where the game was drawn, king e5, king e3. The plan I had was actually a losing plan because his knight, even though it's a bit slower, I mean, he's got to route his knight around like this. It goes here, and then it goes to this square and delivers this check and drives my king away, and also attacks my pawn at the same time, which can't be defended. So he can win with those three moves. And my plan is only two moves, but the knight from d2 also defends this pawn, so I can't carry out my threat of taking the pawn. It's defended. So it's a kind of a just-in-time situation for white there, and he goes on to block my attack and win. So the only way to draw is with this check, delivering the check on the king and just going back and forth, and that's a draw. Okay, so that's how the game ended. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and leave any comments you have in the section below. See you again soon. Bye.